y'all know I love reflecting. I'm a very self-aware person, like a very self-aware person. Doesn't always mean I am someone that will change whatever I'm self-aware about, but very much aware. I'm not naive to the things that have contributed to who I am as a person. And more recently, I was reflecting on my love life. And what I realized is that I've never actually experienced romance, like at all. I think that I've experienced the the bare minimum when it comes to romantic situations. I also am someone who has traditionally steered away from romantic things. Like when emotions are involved, I'm like, ugh, yuck, right? But secretly, like behind the surface, I'm like someone who loves that shit. Like I truly love the idea of romance. So definitely like it as a concept. Love the idea of romance as a concept, but in practice, don't really have much experience with it. Have a lot of experience in other areas, but romance not so much. So as I kind of think about situations where, you know, romance was sort of involved, it was super underwhelming and like bare minimum shit. And I guess, you know, it's like, all right, the thought that counts, I suppose. But I think what I'm realizing is that the effort behind the romance was not truly there. And so it was never really an expectation of me. Like when people think about like, oh, this is the type of person that I want, a romantic has never really been on my list. Like someone who's romantic, I've never really said that because I don't know what that feels like. I've never experienced it. So fast forward to who I am today and the journey I'm on now. I kind of want to experience that. I kind of want to see what that is like. Also recently in my self-reflective moments, I realized that I was in my masculine energy a lot, like a whole lot. I didn't always feel safe to be feminine. And I am a very feminine person. Like, I'm a very feminine person. But if you don't know me in that way, then I come off as like super dumb. And so that brings me to the topic that I want to talk about today, which is the ways in which romance plays into relationships, specifically intimacy, right? And then even more specifically, sexual intimacy. Because if I've never experienced romance, that means I've technically not experienced romance when it comes to sexual intimacy. So romance has not been a direct requirement to experience sexual intimacy for me. However, I do think now it's important. But I guess we'll kind of get into, you know, the meat of that. We'll unpack that shit a little. And so I want to welcome you guys back to another episode of Her Nut Matters. And I'm joined with a guest. And I found out about this amazing person via social media, probably like a lot of you guys have. And so I'm going to hand it over to him because he is a romantic. He is a lover boy. And so I'm going to allow him to introduce himself. Welcome to Her Nut Matters, the podcast that dives headfirst into all things sex, pleasure, and empowerment. I'm Jody, your unapologetic guide to a more liberated sex life. Here we break down taboos, celebrate sexuality, and explore what it means to truly own your pleasure. So whether you're curious, kink-friendly, or just looking for ways to spice things up, you're in the right place. Now let's get to it.
Unfortunately, it's a blessing and a curse, but my name is Demetri Wiley. For those who do not know me, I am here because I love the title of this podcast. Her Nut Matters. Like, how could you, who's turning that down? You know what I'm saying? So, romance is something I've been cursed with. It's a it's not a lifestyle. It's more of it's like Christianity for the religious.
A mindset.
It's a mindset and like something you cannot turn off. So, I've been cursed with it, and yes, it has played a huge role in intimacy and sexual intimacy.
And you're a Cancer.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, we kind of had like a little conversation about that, but you're a Cancer. I'm a Scorpio, so I'm kind of a skeptic when it comes to a lot of stuff, and I'm kind of like closed off when it comes to a lot of stuff too. And I know like even the fact that I'm being honest and saying like, oh, I've actually never experienced romance. It's like,
Seems natural.
yeah, I don't know how I would even be able to like respond to someone being romantic. I would probably cry all the damn time, like, oh my God, what is this? Like,
Scary. That's a scary place to be in my opinion, because like to never have experienced anything the first time is always like game changer. And the thing about it is, you have men these days who can fake romance, and you don't want to be hooked because you've never seen the real thing.
Yeah.
So I'm actually terrified of that for you.
Yeah, I'm terrified of it too. That's
Yeah.
I tell people all the time, I don't ever want to be anyone's first, which means that I don't really want, like, I don't want to be anyone's first anything. And I typically say I don't want to be anyone's first freak, because I'm a very freaky person. And when I get into situations where I am their first, I'm like, oh no, we not doing this. And so again, for me to not have experienced that, like, it would be like a challenge. Like, I know I would probably be a headache for someone to deal with, because it's like, damn, this bitch ain't used to shit.
No, I don't think we men really see it like that. I think we actually prefer those who aren't used to it, believe it or not. It's like I get to teach her something. There's something new here. And it's like everything becomes everything becomes a grand gesture to a first learner. You know what I'm saying? Like teaching your son how to ride a bike, he's so thrilled. But then when he like 14 and you trying to teach him something else, he like, you taught me how to do this, so doing this is now normal. But I think as a virgin myself, I am also scared to have that be the first of someone's or give that to them. But when I say virgin, I don't even mean sexually. I mean in terms of that romance being reciprocated to me. It wasn't until like in recent dating, like this year, I've actually experienced what like romance was towards me. It was crazy. I was in shock because, I think about it and I think about giving it, but if you never, I'm not one of them people who turn down gifts and be like, no, I'm good. But I'm not the type of person to be like, this is what you got to do for me. I need this, I need that.
Right.
I love the idea of a person thinking of you unconsciously. And I think that's where romance and intimacy is best rooted, is the dirt for growing it. So when it was given to me unconsciously, I was in awe. I was shocked in the motherfucker. Like, for sure.
Yeah, and so when I say I haven't experienced romance, I'm definitely talking about on the receiving end. Because I think I'm a romantic ass motherfucker. Like,
what have you done? What has been romantic?
I feel like you gotta watch your girl around me.
Shit.
Had your niggas, had your wife.
Both of them. That's fine.
And I think it's because I am a very thoughtful person. Like, I am that thoughtful person where it's like, as soon as I know, like, you're my person, right? So sometimes I've had to actually like, all right, take a step back. That's not where y'all at. Don't do the shit that you actually want to do.
It's hard.
It's so hard.
It's hard. Knowing that's who you are as a person, it's almost like going against who you are to do different.
I hate that.
Yeah,
I hate that real bad. Like, and so when I'm trying to like process the way in which I'm like supposed to move with a person based on where y'all at that moment, it gets difficult for me because I'm ready to jump off the porch.
I'm off the porch. I started off the porch. I was in the grass when she walked up. You know what I'm saying? But like for me, what I tell everybody is in terms of, because I got a podcast too. And on my podcast, the second episode is my favorite episode. First one goes over who I am, but the second episode goes over this like plan I formulated when I was like 13, growing up. I know exactly how I'm gonna propose to my wife. And the
That's
thing
so
about it
cute.
is, it's super romantic, but it's super subjective. And what I mean by that is it's about the woman that's in the place. Like this, I could tell this to a million people and they'll never know what the day consisted of because it's about this person's interest and hobbies and likes and desires. So like, what I tell everybody, this is one of my favorite things about being romantic. I personally like to bring people down in the moment I'm finna reward them with something. And what I mean by that is...
You is not finna fuck up my day.
No. I ain't gotta fuck the whole day up. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gotta fuck the whole day up.
That is insane.
No, but like for example, if something...
You know that's emotional manipulation, right?
Oh, for sure. Absolutely.
I love that you embrace that because I tell people all the time I'm manipulative.
Absolutely. And I've never said I wasn't. But the thing
all
about it is...
water signs are, but...
It plays in their favor, you know. Like when I talk to my mother every day, she called me earlier. I called her and I was like, "Oh, XYZ happened," and she was like, "Oh, that's so fucked up." And then I was like, "No, I'm just fucking around. This actually happened." So now she's overly excited because she came from here to here, not here to
that's
here.
Psychology.
Yeah, it's a psychology thing. Yeah, and what I mean by in terms of being romantic or gift giving, I'm the type, and I've done it before, to walk in the house and be like, baby, I wanted to do XYZ. I wanted to get you these flowers. I wanted to do XYZ and act as if I didn't. So even if they expected it or not, they immediately go down. Because the thought of flowers in their mind is like, damn, that would have been nice. But he didn't do it. So now I'd be like, all right, baby, damn, I think I left my wallet in the car. I go to the car and come back with 3 dozen roses. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And then it's like, fuck, you did it. And I didn't think. So yes, it's manipulation, but I only use it in terms of a romantic favor.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that. And the reason that I'm not mad at and I've said this to someone before, I don't think manipulation is a bad thing. I think it's very much based on the way in which you are doing it, because I can manipulate my body.
Absolutely.
I can manipulate objects. I can... What's the intention behind said manipulation? Now, if the manipulation is self-serving so that you avoid adverse effects or you rob people of their ability to consent to something or their ability to, make a informed decision around something, that's terrible. You're a shitty person. Yep. But if you're doing it in a way that manipulation just means you're molding something, like you're
It's like when you see people like surprise somebody with something. Sometimes, you see it sometimes. So if I was to give my girl a new car, I'd get in an accident in her old one or some shit like that. And it's all, you know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't. I'm just saying, big extremist. I'll tell you that. For romance, oh man, I will go to the end of the earth to prove this point. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm dead ass. Right? You gotta be like that though. Especially for a motherfucker you truly care about. And there's nothing too far for me. Like quick backstory for those who may not know, but I met my child's mother when I was 13. Mm-hmm. And
I think I heard you say that.
I thought this was who God was supposed to put me with. And I took a trip down to Atlanta on a random fucking day to pick her up because she needed my help. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it's part of who you are and not who you pretend to be. Gotta be extreme.
Yeah, I agree. As someone who's very much an acts of service person, like I show up for people. So the way in which I express things is very much like, okay, I've observed you, I've paid attention to you, I know what kind of like things to do. And so the way in which I show up, you always gonna know like, damn, she, like she's there. Like, I don't ever have to question where her loyalty lies because I very much am once I fuck with you, like, it's hard for me not to fuck with you anymore. Like, you damn near gotta, like, really get me up off you. Yeah. And so that's why I'm like, no, secretly, I love the idea of love. On the outside looking in, though, I'll be like, so.
And is that because, like, it's what comes with it? Like, is it scary?
Hell yeah, emotions are scary. Everything, and it's like, as a water sign, as a Scorpio in particular, I feel everything. I feel so much. What you actually see in terms of what I feel is just the tip of the iceberg. Like literally just that part, because people are like, I've been called moody. And honestly, I don't think I'm moody. I think there are multiple moods that exist with me at all times, and then some just are a little bit unbalanced at times. So it's like I actually been irritated for a month.
Here it is. You just seeing it right now.
You just seeing it like in this moment. And so and I tell people like I'm actually a very irritable person, but you don't see me being in irritation sometimes because like I might be laughing. Like But also it's like, but I'm still irritated, but I'm laughing.
I'm the same way. I could be pissed for a very long time and nobody would know it.
And I hold on to things like forever.
I hold a grudge too, I ain't gonna lie. Yeah, I be mad at the motherfucker too.
Like, I be so upset. I'm an angry bird for real. Damn. And so because I'm like that as well, romance gets difficult as well, because I'm like, angry. Oh, I want to do this romantic grand gesture. It's going to make me look like a psycho if I'm like wanting to like, but it's like, but I just feel so much. And because I feel so much, and I know sometimes that can be, first of all, it's overwhelming for me. Mm-hmm. Of course it can be overwhelming for someone else. So I'm like super conscious of that. So oftentimes I just cut the shit off before I even can like, I guess like spill over onto someone else. So for me, because like I said, I am someone that is like, you know, again, I show up for people. There have been like countless times where I've surprised the guy that I was dating. They don't be surprising me.
I've never been surprised.
Yeah, like
see it coming.
Yeah, and and so
like
I'm like, oh my God, like I'm just like, when I really thought about it, I'm like, yo, I think I may have even sometimes I've over romanticized stuff just to say that I've experienced it. And I'm like, no, that actually wasn't, like.
Yeah, no, I feel that that's actually quite fucked up. Because it's quite fucked up because you're depriving yourself out of like pure joys.
That's what
I don't, for me personally, I don't see any person past who they showing me they are. So if you ain't showing me you romantic, I don't think you romantic. If you lie, you're a liar. If, you know what I'm saying, I believe at face value. And in terms of emotion, I've never really been afraid of emotion, ever. I view it like that Inside Out movie. Whatever emotion you allow to hit the button in this moment you're living in will control the room. And if something happened to me and it's negative and I let angry hit the button, we finna fuck this shit up. But if I let, you know what I'm saying, sadness hit the button, I may handle it differently. Or if joy hit the button, it's different. And that's how I kind of handle it. I find myself exercising, and I don't think people know, it's very healthy to exercise your emotions. And what I mean by that is like, I be in a car, and I ain't even sad, but I play the saddest song I've ever heard in my life, just to feel it, right? Because you got to stay familiar with these emotions. So when these things happen to you, you're not void of it. So when some sad shit happen, you ain't looking at it like, damn, I don't know how to respond. Damn, I don't know what memories or I don't know what to tap into. It's just like you said, sometimes I've overly romanticized things, and with you doing that, you're improperly training the emotion of joy. So when some joyous shit happened to you and you're supposed to be truly happy, you can't even truly be happy because you comparing it to when you lied and said you was happy. And you only lied to yourself.
Yeah. I'm glad I don't be lying to myself no more. Because like I said, I am a very self-aware person. And so this is something that I've been reflecting on more. And I also don't think that I was in a mental space or an emotional space to actually think about this. Absolutely. So I want to say I got out of, actually, it's 2024. I got out of my last relationship in 2020. And so it's been exactly 4 years from that. And I got out of that relationship and I was on a mission. Like, I was very like, all right, cool. I'm not doing this until I explore myself. So went out on this journey, started provocative. What I realized was that I gotten into one relationship from 16 to 23, gotten in another one from 24 to 30. I don't have much experience in those. Like, what I'm going off of is how they were. One was very controlling, one was very insecure. I don't really have healthy versions of what love looks like. So I had to I kind of like worked on myself. So I'm like, what does it look like for me to love on myself? Because the reason that I was attracted to these things is because I didn't have it. Like, there's an unhealed part of myself that is attracting these people. And so I'm like, okay, cool. Now I'm just gonna like kind of hit the reset button, figure out what it is that I truly like and who am I as a person. And then my life completely changed. So now 4 years after, doing this, I'm like, okay, cool. Now I can actually think about this in a way that is going to make me a better person moving forward. So, like I said, I don't think I would not have been able to come to this conclusion 5 years ago, 7 years ago, 10 years ago. Like, it just would never, like, I wasn't there. And so now I'm like, okay, cool. I've been experiencing intimacy. I've been experiencing sexual intimacy. I haven't been experiencing romance. So that's something where it's like, it'd be super funny when I tell people like, oh, I've never experienced that. And they like, you've done all this other shit. You ain't did this. And I'm like,
So by definition, only by definition sake, can you say you ever made love before?
Am I a virgin?
That's a good question. That is a good question.
I don't think so.
Shit.
No, like, I've had really good intimate sex, but without the romance part, like,
you ain't making love. I'm talking about.
I'm making sex, y'all.
Making sex.
I'm making sex.
That's it. Just made some sex. That's a good question.
Yeah, that's a great question, actually. I want to talk about femininity and masculinity, because you have an episode where you talked about that duality, and I talk about it often as well, just because so little kink background about me. I'm a switch, and in the kink world, that means that I am both dominant and submissive. So based on who my sexual partners are, that's going to determine if I'm a dominatrix or if I'm a sub. And so I am typically dominant with majority of people, but there is a certain type of masculine energy that I require for me to be submissive. And I also believe that how you do one thing is how you do all things. Sure. So that's kind of how I got to that realization where it's like, I've been in my masculine energy and not just in sex, in like a lot of different things, right? And so I have to figure, like, but I am a switch. I am someone that is perfect. Like, I'm a naturally feminine person. So I'm very much capable of, being in that energy. But do I feel safe to be in that energy? And I think to an extent, when it comes to romance, in order for you to even be open to receiving that romance, you have to, like, you can't have a wall up like I've been doing for years. And so like, I've been doing for, like, I just had a matchmaker on my show, and I was like, oh my God,
really?
It was a good episode. Like, I had to break it up into 2 parts. That's how good it was. Like, it was a long one. And so what I'm realizing is that, I have been so masculine for so long, and I've been like waiting to just like, no, I don't want to be this way anymore, but I need to feel safe, and I don't feel safe. Absolutely. And so I want to talk about, like, why do you think that kind of like duality is important? Like, I listened to the episode, but that don't mean that the people that's listen to the episode. So you bring up the duality of masculine and feminine energy, right? How do you think that plays into romance?
Well, the thing about masculine and feminine energy, it's often mistaken for a toughness and a softness. Like people often contributed to being tough and or even dominant and submissive, and a lot of times it's just not. I think everybody has masculinity and femininity inside of them. Mm-hmm. But the thing, because we're all human. But the thing about it is, society has placed it to where men should only be masculine and women should only be feminine, and that's created like this imbalance with like social media. Because now women saying I only want to do things that's feminine, and men saying you weak if you do anything that's feminine. But in terms of them living together, I think it's only healthy when both partners find their balance of masculine and feminine energy within themselves and then bring it forth to the relationship. Mm-hmm. Like the same feminine energy I'm bringing to my relationship only complements the feminine energy that my woman or my wife or my partner would be giving off. Mm-hmm. And that's understanding how to touch her. Like there's things that people don't contribute to being feminine that are feminine. It's just the way you handle something. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? There's a way to handle it that you kind of need to do it with grace and patience and comfort. And a part of a man's femininity is understanding how to touch your woman, understanding how to communicate with your woman. All of this is feminine things you should be learning. Because to be in the crib yelling at your lady is fucking insane. To be in the crib putting your hands on your lady is insane. To my mother, for example, I don't mean to get too personal with her, but she was once, as I was too, so I'm gonna put your business out there, I'm putting my business out there, was once like molested as a child. So for her husband, which is my dad, he had to learn I can't touch her like I touched every other woman. He had to learn that there's a delicacy I must move with for my wife. That's him tapping into a feminine part of himself to compliment his woman. And I think a lot of people miss that. And sometimes that it works vice versa, like for women. Your man may be a gamer, right? And part of tapping into your masculine energy is just going and sit there and play the game with him. Learning something that he, chooses to partake in. All of that is tapping into your masculine. Sometimes we do it for our children. Mm-hmm. Sometimes a mama got to wrestle with her kids, and you know what I'm saying? That's tapping into your masculine energy. It's finding a balance. I ain't saying you got to be the toughest motherfucker, but every day a woman gets up and goes to work, she's tapping into her masculine energy to function in the workplace. Yeah. All that should happen is when you come home to your man, if I'm your man, baby, you could drop all of that at the door. The only masculine energy that's needed is the energy you choose to bring in the doorway. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So
it's not a requirement.
It's not a requirement.
And I definitely think oftentimes, I'm going to say a couple different things, right? Oftentimes, Black women in particular have been forced to be masculine in so many different ways, Absolutely. Right? And that's where, it gets hard when, again, it's like, yeah, I'm masculine, but I'm so soft. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm so sensitive. I'm so nurturing. I'm all these other things. And sometimes because we have to be in our masculine energy in different ways, because it needs to be present in this moment, and it's not here. It's not coming from somewhere else. It's not coming from a partner. It's not coming from wherever. So it still needs to happen. We will, we have to still walk around with that energy, and then it's almost displaced. So I know with myself, I do know for a fact that I, have sat in masculine energy for a very long time. And so when I was in those relationships, I did not feel like I could leave that at the door. I had to still be that person, because now I got to figure out, as we doing all of this over here, I'm planning, I'm like, I should not be doing that. And because I experienced that, I know that moving forward, I refuse to. I'm very much you got to tell me what I'm going to eat. You tell me what I'm going to eat. Don't ask me what I want to eat. I like tacos. You tell me where you're going to get the tacos from. Like, I'm very much that person, because I'm tired. I'm fatigued of always having to make decisions and always having to lead and feeling like I have to be this. That is exhausting. I am the oldest child. I know in that episode you said your mom's the oldest child. And so
she's a Scorpio.
So I'm the oldest child. I also was molested. So when it comes to touch and romance, it's very much You know what I'm saying? And I've been that way my whole life because of that trauma. So I know a lot of the, I actually said this on Snapchat and I said, I really need to unpack this. But a lot of the relationships that I was in, the reason they went the way they went is because all of my actions were a trauma response. And I understand that now. So now I'm like, okay, cool. I know this exists. And like I said, I'm a very self-aware person. I know how to change it now. And so, like I said, I was listening to that episode in particular, and I'm like, man, his mom have a lot of comments.
Yeah, she's crazy.
Not she crazy.
I love her though, but she look crazy. No, but I commend my parents because they raised me this way. A lot of times, I ain't gonna sit there and say they did everything right, but what they did do for sure, there was never judgment on what a man was supposed to do and not supposed to do. It was always, what do you want to do? What do you think you should be doing? We grew up, we was doing laundry at like 10, like 9, 10, 8, you know what I'm saying? And it was never a feminine thing. Nowadays, men act like doing laundry is fucking the most feminine thing you can do. They act like washing dishes and, you know what I'm saying,
These
cooking.
are survival things.
These are survival fucking things. And you telling me because I live in a household with my woman, I can't cook her a meal. She supposed to be cooking for me. Like it's a lot of that toxic masculinity floating around, and this idea that we still in like some stone age. For me, the idea of a relationship is complimentary. If you're not complimenting me as a person and I'm not complimenting you, we shouldn't be doing this shit. Yeah. If you hungry, baby, I'm finna go fix up some shit. If it ain't what you like, then you help me. We whip it up, but I'm gonna try. I always try for your woman, and I think that's a part of romance. Romance is effort.
Yeah. And I said that. I was like, that's why I feel like I over romanticize certain shit because I had never experienced this. So I'm like, oh, this kind of feels like what it might be. So let me say that it is and label it that. But then fast forward after I got out of those 2 long term relationships, I had 2 different men cook for me. And I was like,
oh, shit. Was it good, though?
Yes.
Oh, shit.
I was like,
oh, shit. Changing the game.
And they ain't making no box macaroni either. Like, they was cooking. Like, one guy, now we ended up just being friends, so that was great. I was like, I still appreciated, the experience, whatever, but we're really good friends now. Never had sex or anything. Just like, oh, we did a couple dates and we experienced each other, but we're like, no, we good as friends. Love that. But he cooked for me and I'm like, he cooked. And I hadn't experienced that before. Yeah. So I'm glad I was able to experience that. And then this other guy I was dating, he like on the outside looking in, I'm like, oh my God, like he seems like the full package. Like we meet at the Tesla charging stations. He got a Model X, I got a Model Y. He rolling up. I'm like, oh Steph, you smoking? Like we vibe, we instantly vibe. Then like, he take me out on dates, but then he like, no, I want to cook for you. I'm like, cook for me. And he cooked for me and the food was good. He had some on the rocks. That bitch love on the rocks.
I love on the rocks. The fuck?
I love me some on the rocks. And he was like, yeah. So it got to a point where every time I came over, he made sure I had it on the rocks. And I'm like, okay, you paying attention.
Smart man. Smart man.
You paying attention to me, like, and you making me feel comfortable, and I fucks with that real heavy because I'm like, yo. Now, granted, we didn't work out because he will like, okay, you're doing this. Now you need to be consistent with it. You can't introduce me to some shit that you ain't gonna maintain because now you've told me how, like, okay, you see how I treat myself. And then you begin to treat me this way. So this is how we treat me. This is how we
handle me.
This is how we handle me. Okay? And so when I like how we handle me, then
I needed to stay that way.
I needed to stay that way. Okay. When I don't like how we handle me,
I get up out of here.
I'm out of here. And that's what happened. I give people 2 tries. So that was the first time I'm like, yeah, I'm probably finna get up out of here. But then we just kind of took a break. He came back around and then he did it again. I said, yeah, you don't have to keep showing me that this is how you move. Like there's some inconsistency here, and I don't know what your distractions are or whatever, but yeah, we not doing that. But again, I did experience that. So I'm like, I know what it feels like when someone actually does put some effort behind it, right? And so that consistency part was also what I needed, because like you said, people can fake it. And so you can only fake for so long before you get inconsistent. And I'm like, see?
Yeah. I think the thing about it is what a lot of people should know sometimes, and this is, I'm only speaking to people in relationships, not dating. It should be consistent while you're dating. A lot of times you'll get in a relationship, and let's say if it's a long-term relationship, sometimes people can lose sight of themselves, and that romance will become second in their mind. Like I was in a relationship where, I've always been a romantic guy, but I was in a relationship where, and part of the relationship was the problem. You know, like if somebody lied to you, you're not going to keep a consistent level of energy, because, you know what I'm saying? Like you're going to subconsciously change. And, but I do want to just let people know that in a relationship, people are subject to change depending on how they show up for themselves. If I ain't really showing up for myself, it's hard for me to be that romantic man I once was. But I'm speaking on a relationship, so check on your people. Yeah. But to cook has been on my bucket list. That's absolutely, like I had a recipe book since probably for 7 years now. And I've been cooking and learning, and I made Chinese food.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm trying a bunch of shit.
Yeah.
And I just feel like that's something I want to provide my wife when I meet her. You know, like it's this couple I be seeing on Instagram that be, he's like a chef. And he always cooking. Like she ain't never cooking. She just get the plates, and you know what I'm saying? I feel like
I love to eat.
Come on, man.
I love to eat.
Like, baby, listen, I'm going to stuff you with this, and then I'm going to stuff you with something else.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? But, like, I think that's fire as fuck. And, like, but again, that's a feminine act you learn for the better judgment of your wife. That's what you learning for the kids.
Yeah.
And
and it's like, it's reciprocity, and it's also like you feel so appreciated. Like I can remember the moment when I knew I wasn't gonna be with my daughter's father that much longer, right? And very quick story, I've told it before, but I'll tell it again in case you're new here. I used to kickbox every Saturday. Kickbox. I'm a very like I said, I'm a soft girl, but I like to get my hands dirty. So I like going to the gun range and fighting, and like I like being active. Like I like the idea of ziplining and hiking, and I'm a very active person. So it's a Saturday morning. I go kickboxing. I leave for the gym at like 8:00 in the morning. He's waking up, so I know you're up while I'm gone. Our daughter is still asleep. I go to the gym. I'm at the gym for like 2 hours or so. I do some yoga, then I come back. Now it's like maybe 11 o'clock or whatever. The gym not too far from my house at the time. So I come back, I walk in, and he's like, yeah, what you finna cook?
Shit. Damn.
Excuse me? You've been up since I left? And you've been waiting for me to come back to cook for you?
As a child. You're a child.
And so we didn't argue. But I said, I'm going to make our daughter some cereal. I'm going to make me a smoothie. Figure it out.
Shit. I'd have been like, damn.
Yeah, because you didn't, not once did you think, she's kickboxing, maybe she gonna want some protein when she come in, maybe I can't be, if I'm always thinking about others, who's thinking about me?
And that's the definition of intimacy. Intimacy is your ability to care about the unconscious for someone else. And again, believe it or not, it goes back to that same, we call it a manipulation tactic, but psychology tactic. If I know what you have going on, and I know I can at least perceive how you're going to feel or what you're going to need, there's my version to supply. Yeah. You're just feeling a demand. And a lot of times it's an unconscious demand, so psychology plays into it. But That man, you could have came home, breakfast could have been on the table. You would have, you know what I'm saying? She could have threw you the drawers, dog, but instead you got left. God damn it.
And it was another situation where, again, I'm an acts of service person. And it's like, if I feel like I'm always showing up and I'm alone, I could just be alone. So there was another situation. It was like a weekday. We both had like, worked. And so, I came home and I cooked. There were dishes in the sink. Our daughter needed to get washed up for bed and prepare her for bed. So I asked him, I said, now, mind you, okay, this needs to happen, and you're trying to have sex. So I got to do the dishes, wash the baby, and then come fuck you?
God.
I asked him, because I know what type of time he on, right? And I'm like, okay, well, can you give our daughter a bath? And I'll do the dishes. And then, all right, cool, we can get to it.
And then we can get to it.
I say, can you give her a bath? He says, hell no.
Hell no, it's insane.
Because it wasn't a no. I remember it was a hell no.
This his daughter, right? His daughter.
Mm-hmm. Okay. It was a no.
That's insane.
I can count on a hand the amount of diapers he's changed.
Shit.
And we were together.
I might be a great fucking dad if that's the case. Like,
so,
Jesus.
I can. The most this man has ever cooked for me is a pack of noodles.
Shit.
And so when I'm doing that over and over and over, he was like, when he said hell no, I said, I'll never ask you to wash her up again. And I never had sex with him ever again after that. Like, I didn't have sex with him that night, and I didn't have sex with him that was ever. It.
You're done, buddy.
We didn't officially break up until like maybe 3 weeks later, but I was done. Like, I checked all the way out because those situations happened like damn near back to back. Like, they were very close. And I was like, you don't value me. Like, you only value the way in which I show up for you. And you feel like you don't have to show up for me. Sure. And that has low-key been the dynamic of our relationship. Never, like, then let's add the fact that you a mama's boy. You want everything to go your way, like all the other shit or whatever. And I'm giving. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? I'm good now. So then we break up, and then eventually he's like, like months later, almost a year later, he's like, I want my family back with one. I'm like, no.
You should have washed up.
Like, I didn't want that. Like, shit. I'm like, it's nothing. Like, it was, and I'm very much a person where it's like, once I know in my heart I'm done, I was done. Like, I was disgusted. Like and I can't come back from that.
It's like that. A woman leaving a man is a mental thing first. Always a mental thing. And men sometimes can be a little sporadic. They do dumb shit. You'll break up with a motherfucker because you want to go out tonight. Like, niggas do stupid shit like that. But when a woman's done, she's added up the building blocks to get to the top of this building and build this house that she finna live in without your ass. And my thing about it is, like, for the fellas, bro, there's opportunity in fucking circumstances. Me personally, if I know you was coming home and I wanted to have sex, the dishes done, the baby washed up, she sleep, I read her book, I done helped her with the homework, I figured all this shit out just so we can do this, baby. You, listen, yo, the bath running for you, jump in there, jump out, jump back in when we, listen, man.
So fast forward, there was a situation where I was dating someone else, and very similar situation happened, but now I'm not with my daughter's father. Now I'm with someone different, and he doesn't have kids. Mm-hmm. And so I cooked. It's dishes in the sink. I got to get my daughter ready for bed. Now, we had just got done eating, and he said, I'm finna do the dishes. You go ahead and make sure she's straight.
He got the drawers, and you ain't get the fucking drawers? God damn.
Like, God damn. I'm finna eat, everything was good. I'm finna do the dishes. You go ahead and do whatever you need to do. Make sure she's straight. And then, we could, like.
And that's the thing about it, though. The key to anything is reciprocity. Mm-hmm. And I was always, because I, too, lived in a family unit before, My son was conceived in love, and it was a household, and, we did everything together. And she would cook, and I would always do the dishes. Or I would cook, and she would always do the dishes. Or I'm washing the kid up, or I'm helping him with his homework, or XYZ. And a lot of times, people forget. I'm gonna just put this out here first and foremost, because men specifically, I'm speaking to the men. Women are tired too. Women feel too. Women are emotional too. And I think a lot of times niggas think because we go to work and we make the money, she got a job too. She get up and she leave the house just like you do. And even for those who do not, they at home raising them kids, they feel too. And I know, because I've had conversations with a lot of men, that they just feel like this is what a woman's supposed to do. So they allow them that. But if you love somebody, if you say you love them, like deep down, that intimacy will kick in and act of service, and you're gonna be doing all them motherfucking things.
Yeah. I want to talk about people. We're talking about like, okay, cool. Women get up and go to work and stuff like that. Like, what are some ways like? Because now I want to kind of give people some tips, right? Because we both water signs, so I feel like we both can we both can share some insights on what we would do in a romantic context. But so I'll tell women, because there might be women out there that don't feel like they have to be romantic. They only have to be on the receiving end of that. I'm not someone that believes that. Like, I'm very much I show up.
Absolutely.
I show up in all the ways I need to show up. I need someone to show up for me in that way, right? And you said you typically should, like, you're the romantic, right? So I want to give, like, we could give both women and men some tips. Like, so let's say they like busy or something like that, because everybody's busy. Like, people have different jobs.
Which one?
Hell.
Both of them?
Both of them busy. Okay. Let's think about, like, all right, cool. If a man is busy, what can a woman do? If a woman is busy, what can a man do? If both y'all busy, what the fuck y'all gonna do, right? Because different people have like different lifestyles and schedules, etc. So I want to give people some tips on ways that they could kind of incorporate romance into, like, and have romance almost be that like foreplay. Right? Like, how does romance feed into that intimacy? So, like, let's see if we could get on some tips.
For me, if I was to tell them anything, it's the idea that being busy creates these moments for surprises. Surprises comes when you least expect it. And busy comes from creating a routine in which everything's the same. You get up, you go to work, you go to school, you do this, you do that, and then you back to sleep. Now, a surprise being snuck, or surprises being snuck in the middle of those moments you're the most busy, mean the most. Because it's like, oh, this person went out of their way. They thought of me. Me personally, if I can give them an example from my previous relationship, I had my son at the time. I kept him home from school. She was at work. It was, I may have taken some like PTO or something, so I wasn't even at work. But no, I actually told her I was going to work and didn't. And I got my son out of school. But we snuck over to Louis Vuitton. We snuck over to get some flowers, and then we snuck over to her job. And beforehand, I called the job to let them know I was coming. So like, she wouldn't be like front row at the door. So they like kind of, put off to the side a little bit so I can actually sneak in and put it in place. So one moment she looked, she was working, boom, boom, boom. They called her, she looked back, it was right there. You know what I'm saying? The thing about it is, that's taking advantage of someone having shit to do. That's taking it. You could surprise a motherfucker at the gym. You could surprise a motherfucker in traffic. You could, if you know they route. That's the shit I do. I'm an extremist. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'll cut my boo off in traffic. Like, baby, I got these flowers for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how you gotta be sometimes. So my biggest tip is to allow that busy schedule to work with you. You know what I'm saying? The busy schedule is still a schedule, and it's a schedule in which you can submerge yourself into and learn and orchestrate, whether it's romantic gestures, just buying your lady food today. Being like, baby, listen, Uber on the way, 3 minutes, I got your favorite, it'll be to you in a minute. And a lot of people forget how much that means to people. Like, it's become such a gesture that you got to eat every day that it coming from another place still means more than you buying it yourself. Yeah. And it's a ton. Like, I could give you a ton. I advocate for people to use the schedule as well.
Yeah. What I would say is, I think it's so important, because we gonna give y'all tips, but we not telling you that this is like it's not a template, right? Like, you can't just copy what the hell we saying, right? Because it don't mean shit if that like, for example, if I know that my person loves burgers, right? And
don't buy them no wings.
My person loves burgers, right? And so this was actually a thought that I wanted to do, and it just didn't happen or whatever, because I'm like, nah, I'm not even gonna do that. But my person likes burgers, and I thought about going to like the best burger restaurants in Chicago and just like getting a bunch of fucking burgers and giving him a flight of burgers. Just because I know he loves burgers.
Absolutely.
And so it should feel like nobody else can have this. Absolutely. Nobody else will know what this feels like, because it's so unique to that person. It's like, you a burger eating ass motherfucker. Let me go to, like, I'm finna do a, like.
Bob a burger ass nigga.
Yeah, so it's like, I'm finna, like, and I swear to God, I wanted to do this so bad. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go get an Impossible Burger from Flay's, and I'm gonna go, like, I'm gonna really drive around, and I'm a low key, I'm gonna get a DoorDash fucking insulated bag to make sure it stay warm, and I'm just gonna plate all these burgers.
No, it be those things though, and I think people don't understand like how far that thought goes. The thought means more than anything else. It's the idea of exclusivity. Romance and intimacy involves exclusivity. Like, everybody doesn't get this from me. Yeah. The thing about it is that's where it comes in sexually as well. Like, you've done things with people you've been in relationships with for the longest times that you've never done with this person over here. And
it's some people that I've had sex with that listen to my show, and I know they like, this bitch ain't never did that with me.
They ain't never did that. I don't know what that be like.
I got an episode where I told this one guy I don't suck dick.
Shit.
Look, that's the big. You see how big this mouth is? That's a big. Look, that lie is bigger than my fucking mouth, and it's a big ass mouth. So.
No, I feel it though. It's certain shit that just this person don't get. You know what I'm saying? Exclusivity matters, and that's a part of intimacy. Yeah. It's like, I don't know. This how you feed an ego. For a man to feel like he's the only one touched, just to feel. Yeah. Like this is his. When a woman whispers, you know this yours, right? Or whose is this? Just to hear it. Yeah. Drives your ego up. Yeah. Like unconsciously. And say that. Listen, say that. But even if it's not, say that. Lie to him.
Do not lie. Don't lie.
Say that.
Don't lie. See, what I typically do, I be like, huh? Until he stop asking me that dumbass shit. Unless it's his. Now, if it's and I don't normally tell a motherfucker like, oh, like I swear to God, you like, I'm not even finna lie to you. I don't even fake moan. Like, I swear to God, we would be in that motherfucker having silent ass sex until I'm like, can you get off me, please? I'm not in that space to where I feel like I'm lying to niggas. I don't lie during sex. If I said that shit during sex, I meant that shit.
No, I feel you though. It be like that, man. But you never made love, so it's like a little. Like,
I never made. Actually, I'm a virgin out here.
I feel for that, man, because to love somebody and to be sitting there like, you know, doing that, and you just unconsciously say "I love you" out your mouth is insane. Yeah, but it happens. You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, and I mean, I feel like I've been making sex. I've been making sex and saying I love you because I do, and we just so happen to.
Did it get forced out of you, or did you like consciously?
No, like I would have said I love you if we wasn't making sex.
You would have or you wouldn't have?
I would.
But it's a difference. See, what I'm saying is it's almost like I threw it up. Like, I didn't consciously attempt to say this. This is a subconscious thought in my mind.
I was conscious. I'm like, yeah, I love you.
Oh, again, I love you. No, I mean, like, fuck. Like a God damn it, I love you, girl. Like, fuck, man. This shit, you know what I'm saying? Like that.
But that's like, I love what you doing to me.
Nah. No, it's almost like nobody can do it the way you're doing it. I love you. What the fuck?
I agree with all of that. Nobody can do it like
I have sex. You're like, oh, by the way, I love you. I've been just.
I mean, I concur.
I concur. No, but yeah, but it's that as well. It's that same idea of intimacy, exclusivity. It's for your person. Yeah. And I think that romance and sex is something. Like, people forget that foreplay starts like the moment the person wakes up. For me, if I know I'm in the crib with my girl and we ain't got shit to do on this Saturday, all right, baby, you hungry? I'm hungry. You need anything? Let's get the day started the right way, because the moment I start talking to you how you want me to talk to you, how I need to talk to you to set the mood for later in the day, like, there's dates. You should date in a day. And people be like, oh, no, I want to go out on a date. No, baby, just run a Target with me real quick. Tell your girl, run a Target with me.
I love going on errands.
Listen, baby, I just want you next to me. You know what that's going to do to her?
Oh, my God, I'm finna cry, y'all. I love what my baby like.
Baby, I just
Come
want
on, you want to go with me? Yes.
For sure. I'm the baby. I'm driving, baby. Put your feet on me, like touch me, like that's foreplay. I don't know if y'all know that. And then when it's late in the day and y'all doing what y'all gonna do, she thinking about all that, how you treated her in a day, how you treated her in a week, a month. Foreplay begins way before you start touching each other in bed. And a lot of people don't know that.
Yeah. That's. I totally agree. Of course. Oh yeah, I concur. I also talk about how sexual experiences, right? Because we have this definition of what sex is. We have this definition of what intimacy is, right? You can experience intimacy in a lot of different ways, not always in a romantic context, right? Like, I've experienced intimacy with my friends, like on a deep friendship level, because intimacy is all about the feeling safe, right? It's about feeling safe enough to be completely vulnerable. That's a very intimate thing, right? It's about closeness. And so to have experienced intimacy but not experience romance is like, that's why I'm like, yo, it's not like I would, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know that I would be able to identify it in a way where it's like, no, this is it, right? Because like I said earlier, I also need that consistency. Like, you're not finna fake this romantic shit with me. Like, you're not finna do some romantic shit one or twice and I'm like, oh, no. Like,
so how many times do they gotta do it for you to consider it intimacy?
13.
13 is ridiculous out here in these streets. 13?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Cause you ain't faking it.
Damn, I wasn't faking it at 7, but god damn. Shit, 13.
You don't mean that shit.
Damn.
Wait, who said that in the I swear to God, it was Yvette. You don't mean that shit.
Then
you just running your mouth.
Man, she don't know what she wants. That didn't know what she wanted.
Oh man, that is hilarious. But yeah, I definitely think that we experience intimacy in a lot of different ways, right? And so having experienced intimacy, obviously made sex. I think that, and I know you kind of said this earlier, like when you was like, oh, you ain't never made love before. Shit. I think that it's like, okay, cool, that's the missing piece. Mm-hmm. Like, I've experienced sexual intimacy, however, I've not made love. I don't know what that feel like.
You know, how can I describe this? God damn it. You ever, there's no words for this. You ever took a nap in heaven, like right after eating the best meal? No, for me, I think to hear what you're saying, like to put it in terms, a lot of people don't understand intimacy lives in every relationship you have.
Yes.
You have intimacy with your child. You can have intimacy with a coworker. We can sit here and this is an intimate conversation. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Everybody can't be part of this conversation, but everybody is not part of this conversation. But romance is exclusivity. Romance is the idea that not everybody is finna get this side of me. And romance involves a passion that you turn on for a specific person.
Yeah.
Intimacy, passion can live there too, but romance is a decided upon passion.
Yeah.
Like, baby, I love you so much, I can't turn it off anymore. That's the type of marriage I want. That's the type of love I want. And I think the idea of it is like, to say you've never made love, but you had an intimate sexual experience, I can absolutely understand it. It's been a moment. It's been something you look back on and was like, oh, that was great. We should do that again sometimes. The two of us had a great time there. But making love, when you love somebody, making love is like, what the fuck did we just do? Like, where did we go? Like, I swear to God, if you made love before, just, you know what I'm talking about. But like, it's like you look back and like, y'all both sleep, like immediately. Like there's no immediately sleep. Like, it's like, man, y'all become one. Like, it's hard to explain it. I truly pray this over you though. Like, I pray
manifest some love making over me.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it's not I definitely think there's something that's been missing. It don't help that I'm a certified sexologist, so it's like I know sex very well, and so I would like to experience the romance. Like and I love love. But it's at a concept level, not a practice. Like, it's not practical. Like, it hasn't been practical, right? It's like, all right, cool. You learn about this thing and you know it exists.
Absolutely.
But I haven't applied it to my, like, it hasn't been applied in a way where it's like, no, I know, like, now I have my research and I have, like, my actual, like, application of said research.
You're going to realize making love, all of that knowledge goes out the window. This is finna be a brand new experience that my child was made in making love, like seriously, like, and a lot of people be like, people in our generation or this culture we live in, they think every baby they see is an accident. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, this was a plan. We were, some shit was happening, but the idea of it is like, to say you've made love, to know it is one thing, but you're not gonna think it. It's gonna be unconscious. Like y'all bodies just sitting there floating on each other. Yeah. And I feel
like I got close to it. Hey, but I mean, I just once that romance piece is added, like I'll know the difference at that point. And have
you ever had like makeup sex?
Yeah.
Okay. And how was that?
Good.
Did y'all talk through like during sex? Because when you making love, when you in love with a person, you like, listen, you apologizing while having sex. You like, you know what I'm saying? Like you, it's some shit going on that like.
I miss you too.
You know, like, oh my God.
You
ever had like.
I didn't mean it. I didn't mean I never wanted to talk to you again. Man, I just wanted to talk to your penis.
Sure. That's real life. Go get two motherfuckers who in love. And get them both drunk and they bad at each other. Oh my God. Baby getting married that night.
That's hilarious.
But, man. I pray that over. I pray that over all y'all. Matter of fact, I pray pregnancy over everybody who watching.
Relax.
Hey, listen, all of y'all. In 9 months, y'all could name y'all baby after this podcast, okay? You understand what I'm saying? This is for you guys, not for me. This is for you guys.
Not they finna be out there naming their kids Jody.
Because your nut matters, okay?
Oh my God.
But like, even in terms of that, like, to be in love with somebody, viewer discretion is advised. I ate pussy every single time before me and that person ever had sex. Every fucking time.
As
and
it
was by choice. Like, and I ain't just saying eat it till I'm tired. She coming in 2 minutes. She coming in a minute. She like put that on me. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know, maybe subconsciously, because I don't know why, but women that tend to cross paths with me have been with other women. Like, and if came over to they be like, I don't never want no dick. Sure. But then they jump over to the side and, you know, maybe subconsciously it was like she came from a woman and this was what a woman, you know what I'm saying, how they handle each other.
I will say this because we talk a lot about the orgasm gap. And so 80% of women cannot or do not have a orgasm from penetration alone. That means that most heterosexual women are not experiencing orgasms. A lot of lesbian women, a lot of bisexual women, a lot of gay men, a lot of heterosexual men, all having orgasms. Heterosexual women, not so much, right? So that's where you get into like, what does pleasure mean? Absolutely. What is sex, right? What is going into that? And oftentimes, because a lot of lesbian sex is not penetrative at all, right? Like everyone is not strapping. Like even if you see a, you know, a mask identifying or a dominant one, you know, like identifying woman or whatever, that does not mean that she's strapping her femme. That does not mean that, right? When you're heterosexual, we just assume how lesbian and gay people have sex, right? It's like, oh, it just must be this. Like, I know me, I have a sister that's bisexual, right? And she literally for like years and years and years only dealt with women. So before I actually had a experience with women or whatever, because now I deal with both men and women. I asked her, I was like, do y'all just scissor all the time? And she's like, no, we don't do that dumbass shit. And I'm like, oh my God, lesbians not out here scissoring.
Dumbass shit.
And I also, it was this video, I came across this video and there were two women talking about it and they were like, yeah, only bisexual women be scissoring. And I'm like, what? Like, lesbian women really don't be scissoring. I'm like, what do y'all be doing? How y'all be?
They be eating some. No.
They do, but it like, but my point is that that's still sex, and that they are experiencing pleasure. So when you come into these sexual interactions and these sexual experiences, what is the goal? Do you want her to experience pleasure or not? Yep. Because your dick is not the key to that. More off 80% of the time, your dick is not the key to that. So if we can kind of decentralize, because sex is centered around dicks. It's not centered around clits. And so I think that we have to rework that narrative, right? Because traditionally sex has been viewed as something that men do to women. And so when you have people that say like, oh, well, if we both having sex, then it's mutually, you know, like we're both getting something out of it. Nope. We're both not. You're 99% guaranteed to get something out of this. There's an 80% chance that I leave feeling very unfulfilled. Absolutely. And so how do we shift that narrative? How do we shift our mindsets around what sex is? How do we redefine it in a way that is female pleasure centered? And yeah,
I think the root to everything is walking into it with the idea of loving your partner.
Yeah.
I think everything a relationship has to do revolves around loving your partner. If you love me, your goal is to make sure I'm satisfied. If I love you, my goal is to make sure you're satisfied.
Yeah.
I was in a relationship where she may do something, you know what I'm saying, and be doing something. I'm gonna say be doing something. I don't want to get too crazy with y'all. But and she may get me there faster than I wanted her to get me there. Like she's not satisfied. I double back. You know what I'm saying? Oh, baby, I'm going, you know what I'm saying? Well, you going to get yours off. And it's the idea, like you said, people talk about sex being this exchange, but you release these hormones out of your body, she ain't get anything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And she's still uptight. Now she got to grab the motherfucking rose. Heavy advocate on bringing that in the bedroom as well. You know what I'm saying? I'm just putting that out there.
Yeah.
But if it's for that satisfaction, then your aim should always be for I think the key to that is to stop dealing with fucking men who do not care about you. Like, and people keep having sex with these niggas who don't give a fuck about them.
Yep.
If he don't give a fuck about you getting your nut off,
that tells you everything. It tells you
everything you need to know.
How you do one thing is how you do all things. So if you don't care about my pleasure, there's some other shit you don't care about.
You don't care if I'm hungry. Yeah. You don't care if I'm fucking how my mental is. You don't care about my emotional state. You don't care about shit.
Yeah.
You just care about you and what you gain from me, like you spoke about your relationship.
Yeah, and it's like that, you know, me going on this sexual journey really revealed that to me, because I'm like, okay, cool. Even in those moments, I'm dealing with people that didn't prioritize my pleasure, which meant that I also didn't prioritize my pleasure,
Absolutely.
right? So now in this day and age, that shit is priority. I'm not even talking.
Get my shit off.
I'm not having a I'm never going to have sex with you if the conversation doesn't meet a certain expectation, right? The moment that I begin to actually like, all right, well, what are your thoughts on this? Because now as a sex coach, I know how to get the information up out of somebody when it comes to what they would be interested in doing. And the moment that I see that this won't be a pleasurable time for me, like you got all these limits and I'm
what
like.
What do you mean you don't eat pussy?
Like, what you mean you don't eat ass? I don't think this gonna work. I don't think it's gonna work. What you mean you don't eat ass? What you mean you don't want me to lick your gooch? I don't want to have sex with anybody that feels like, oh no, that's too close to my asshole. Like, I'm cool on that. Like, I act like, yeah, you ever had your gooch? Hell no, I ain't doing that shit. Yeah, nah. Because you don't have the mindset.
Hell no, I ain't doing that shit.
Yeah, like, you don't have the mindset that I need to be sexually free, because guess what? I'm not just sucking your dick. I'm going to the balls, going to the gooch, and I might rim you, nigga. So, if you not with that, that's cool. Because there's other women out there that will be more sexually compatible with you. It's not me, because I don't want anyone who feels limited in their sexuality, because I'm not limited in my sexuality. So I need to be with someone that is free in that. I'm not saying that, you can't have any sexual boundaries or limits. I have sexual limits and boundaries and limits. Everyone should. However, I need to know why you think the way you think. Is it something that you are truly limiting yourself from experiencing because you're like, oh, well, societal constructs said that that's gay, or that's, whatever. If that's how you view things, that means that you're going to allow societal constructs to dictate other shit, and I'm cool on it.
Absolutely. No, that's a fucking fact. I think a lot of the times my idea of it was you get in a relationship and you and a person may not see eye to eye right away. On anything, sexual desires, religious preferences, all of these things. But the point of the relationship is to grow over time with a person.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? We may not have been doing this day one, but 3 months into this relationship, I'm touching you differently.
Yeah.
A year into this relationship, I know your body better than anybody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think that's the idea of how I always looked at it. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna do what's necessary for mine. If that's how we rocking, that's how we rocking.
Right.
And
but that's a good starting point, though, right? Like, if you coming in the door with, I ain't doing that shit, or hell no, you can't bring no. I'm straight.
At that point, you don't even know what you like. Like, you automatically, you ain't even tried shit.
Yes.
And you so caught up in what other people got going on that you feel like that should judge your standards. Then you already fucked up. I feel you.
Yeah. Oh my God, this is such a great conversation.
Absolutely.
Okay, this is how I want to wrap this up. I'm gonna manifest love making over my life.
Absolutely.
I want to make love, y'all. I want to know what it feels like. I want to go like a romantic date and just be. I want a motherfucker to what's it called? Woo me.
Woo you.
I want to be wooed.
Absolutely.
I want to experience that, and I think I can. I don't think in the past I've been in a space to where I could be, but I'm hopeful now. Just because of the work I've done on myself. And yeah, I'm looking forward to losing my virginity. Oh my God, it was so great having you. Tell the people how they could find you, get in tune with you. Are you coming to the Hurt Nothing Matters live show?
I would love to. This is my oh shit.
Let's talk about we gonna talk about this off camera, but absolutely. I would love to have you there. We're gonna this episode is probably gonna drop after the show, but after the live show, but we're going to have a panel where we talk about romance and intimacy. And I think that you have some very important insights that the people need to hear expeditiously.
I appreciate that. I'm dying to get outside more. I've been outside. I ain't gonna lie to you.
I was about to say, you talking about get outside more. You been outside.
I've been outside. That's my fucking problem. I need to lay down. No, but I'm currently on this tour with the Tonight Conversation crew.
Right.
The owner of them told me I needed to take a break. He's scared to wear me out. He like a big brother to me.
That's dope.
My next, I'm in Atlanta with them on the next showing.
When's the next show?
They're in Philadelphia tomorrow. I was supposed to be in Philadelphia. But
I'm going to Philly next week because I'm on tour with the Heart of South show. So we going to be in Philly next Thursday, my birthday.
Oh, happy birthday. Hope you make love for your birthday. That's my wish. So go fall in love, make love,
I ain't
make
making no damn love in no Philly.
I ain't making love in no fucking Philadelphia. Fuck Philadelphia. No.
I like Philly, but I ain't making no love in Philly. They be out there robbing niggas.
Damn,
I gotta keep my head
where
on
you gotta
swivel.
be when you make love? I just want
Where I gotta be?
Yeah, where you gotta be?
Ooh.
I'm trying to make love at a park picnic. You know what I'm saying? Fuck who watching, baby.
Yeah, I mean, I'm an exhibitionist, so you know what an exhibitionist is?
Hell no.
An exhibitionist is someone who I have a kink where I want people to watch me.
Oh shit.
So
let them watch.
Like yeah, I'm like probably gonna moan louder when I know somebody watching. Let's give them a show.
Police right next to you.
Yeah, like so
crazy.
I have that kink, so I promise you, put on a show is never a thing. But if I had to say where would I be making love? I would say, I don't want to be at home. I don't want to be at my home.
Basic.
I don't want to be my home because at my home, I feel like I'm in my masculine energy. I got to control everything that's going on. I want to be in a very soft, vulnerable space. I am that person that so it would, if it has to be a house, it probably has to be his house.
Absolutely.
Or maybe he got us a room or something like that, but he's in control of what the fuck is going on in that domain. So that has to happen. I want to make love in water.
In water?
Yeah. Like,
oh my God. Water sex is crazy.
Huh?
Water sex just takes the natural lubrication out of things.
No.
Like,
I'm not saying submerged in water. That's not what I'm saying. Like, not like a jacuzzi or like a pool or anything like that. I don't want to be in, I'm not saying that. I said water. So, like, some waterfall type shit. Or, like, in the rain. Like,
in the rain is crazy.
Is it?
That's hard. But I'm about to definitely go figure out what my kinks are because I know I got a few of them.
Oh yeah, I gotta send you the BDSM test now.
Yeah,
we gon'
send it to me. I probably got some shit.
Part 2 episode,
got some shit going on.
I'm gonna try to make some predictions based on this conversation, and I'm gonna send you the test. And then
God bless America.
I'm gonna tell you what I think like maybe is in your top 3. That's what we gonna do. So people that's listening, they know that I did like a BDSM series where I kept having people on the show, and before they came on the show, I made them take the BDSM test. And so we talked through their kinks, and I did a whole series like that. Maybe we need to bring that back, cause that I think
that shit gonna be hilarious.
Yeah, so we might have to do a part 2 to this episode and talk about your kinks. Yeah, this was such a great you said you're on tour with
yes.
Tonight's Conversation. When did you say the Atlanta show is?
The Atlanta show is the 30th, November 30th.
Okay, all right.
It's a 2-day show.
When do you leave?
I think 2 days before.
2 days before, so like the 28th. Okay, the 28th is Thanksgiving. So you leave on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, late in the night though.
Okay, so you will be in Chicago for Her Nut Matters. So yeah,
when is Her Nut Matters?
The 27th.
I'll be here.
Okay, yeah,
let's be all up in there screaming Her Nut Matters.
I'm gonna get you a shirt. 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 So don't worry about it. Like, I'm gonna get you a shirt. But yes, tell people how they can find you on social media. Tell them about your podcast. I know you ain't dropped the episode in a while. What's going on with that?
One's coming very soon.
Good.
I just shot one of my closest friends for like 15 years. Great episode. Nice. He's real vulnerable. But my name is Demetri Wiley. You can find me anywhere at Demetri Wiley. I got music. I got a podcast. I got a couple cool things going on. I don't know who I am at the moment. My life is spiraling into something so beautiful. I am God's child, and I'm so happy to be. But thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I knew we was gonna have a good conversation. I typically have good conversations with water signs, so I wasn't
Worried.
Yeah,
she wasn't worried.
I wasn't worried. Like I told you, I'm like, yo, come on my show. We gonna talk about this.
Absolutely.
I think it's gonna be a good time. Like that's literally how I invited him on the show, y'all. I was like, I think we're gonna have a really good conversation. And
Absolutely.
look what happened. Really good conversation. So, that's all I got for y'all. By the time y'all hear this episode, Her Nut Matters, the live show would have happened already, and I'm pretty sure it was a fire experience. Like
yeah, it was great.
It was great. I'm so happy with the results. Like it was so good. Y'all missed it.
I got drunk. I blacked out. I don't know what happened. You know,
I picked them up and carried them out. Like
type shit.
But yes, guys, by the time you hear this, the Her Nut Matters coaching community would have opened up. Really excited about that. We'll be talking about different sex topics month to month. We'll have live check-ins. You'll have a community that you can lean on and not feel like your sexual experiences are taboo or, not normal. I really want people to really feel comfortable in their sexuality and feel comfortable with expressing that. And oftentimes to feel comfortable and confident in that sexual energy, you need the education part. So we're going to educate ourselves. We're going to have fun. We're going to incorporate sex into everything in our life, right? Because you should experience pleasure in everything. And so I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for trusting me on this journey with you guys as we mindset shift and change those limiting beliefs to liberating beliefs one nut at a time. So I'll see y'all later.
One nut at a time is great. One nut at a time.
Yes, like one.
Oh my God. One nut at a time.
We out, y'all. Thanks for tuning in to Her Nut Matters. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and share the pleasure with others. Follow us on Instagram at Her Nut Matters to stay updated on everything we have going on. Remember, pleasure is power. Go out there and own yours. Catch you next time.